Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be using this really cool blue paper that I found to paint something. I got this gouache set for Christmas and it is July and I have yet to touch it yet. It is completely unused. In fact, I didn't even realize it came with brushes, so I'll probably be using those too. Anyway, I am excited to get started. The goal is kind of a floral mushroomy scene, I guess, but I don't really have any plans. I think I might go in with a light sketch, but other than that, I'm just gonna get started. But first, I have to open all of the gouache. Wow, okay, forgot how much that sucks. But they are now all open and I am going to get started. Voiceover time. Okay, so I did have the sketching part included, but between the lighting and the fact that I was sketching in purple pencil on blue paper means that you could not see it like at all. So I decided that that would not be very beneficial for you. And I cut out most of my color mixing because you can't see it either. But so I started with like the mushroom caps because I was really envisioning this like cute little scene of like a little fairy and like a little grouping of these mushrooms. These aren't a particular kind of mushroom at all. They're just kind of the colors and shapes that I wanted. I was inspired to try gouache because I had recently watched a Bailey J video where she was doing gouache, and I had tried gouache like a year ago and I liked it a lot then. And then I got this blue paper and I was like, oh, that's so cool for like when you paint, you know, you can do like using different kinds of paper or using a different like base can change the way that color looks. So I thought it'd be really fun then to do a gouache painting on it. And it started out really great. I'm not super well versed in gouache. I do not claim to be an expert, but it's like watercolor, but more opaque, like acrylic paint if you've never tried it before. And so it kind of goes down. You can water it down to be more watercolor like, or keep it thicker like this, which is a little bit more acrylic paint like. But the thing is it does reactivate when wet. So it dries pretty quickly, but then once it is dry, that does not mean that that's it kind of thing, you know. So as soon as a wet brush touches it, it will start to react with the paint that's underneath it, which could be really cool. And now it was seemingly really awesome here in the beginning because I was kind of using a bit of like magical colors almost. I was making the shadows of this really purpley, and I even cat hair and I even like just start introducing some colors that just make it feel very, you know, magical like. And I was really enjoying the way that I was kind of using blocky, kind of almost messy, but it read really well. It does go downhill, I will say that. But see, I did like some like rim lighting in blue because I was thinking about there being like magical, kind of sparkly, floaty things. And because I was inspired by Bailey, I was planning on doing a darker background. So I get that background going, and while it looks really cool at first. At first is definitely it. I had also sketched in this rough little shape of a fairy, because I was like, oh, what is a magical scene without a fairy? Wrong. I just did not have the space to do that. I really should have focused on more foliage or something, but I do plan on repainting this because I I had a fun time and I learned a lot. So I will be doing more gouache in the future. I will be learning my lesson on maybe even a better sketch for starters. More planning might help, but I really wanted this to be kind of like loose and fun, not super boxed in or anything, but yeah. And so here I left a little blank space for the fairy though, because even though there is the dark background, the whole point of painting on the blue paper though was to have that blue in the background. And so I wanted to make sure that her base colors got laid on top of the blue, just like the mushrooms. But let me tell you, it could have been very cute, and that is why I want to redo it. Not because it had potential, I will say that. And I know I'm kind of dogging on it a little bit, but I do think the mushrooms look really cute. They were really fun. And so, yeah. I do plan on experimenting with this blue paper more. I will be doing a video here in the coming weeks about using markers on this, as well as maybe some watercolor and some charcoal and stuff. So those are a little bit more in my wheelhouse, so they should be a little better. And next week's video is continuing the planet series, so that'll be exciting. So here you can start to see a bit of the shape of the fairy take place, and like I said, it was actually not looking half bad until here. So enjoy this piece's descent into madness. I try to fix it. I fixed it a little bit more in Procreate later that you don't see, but that is posted on my Instagram, so you can check that out, what I touched up a little bit. So, and I deepen the shadows here, but I'm going to talk about where I've been for the past little bit. So I kind of dropped off the face of the earth for YouTube for a while now. I don't even remember the last time I posted. I started with a convention in April. It was on April 1st. So for the entirety of March, I was either on vacation or preparing for this convention. And now it was a small local convention, but a convention, and my first one at that nonetheless. And so I was crazy person making stickers and stuff, because that convention was expecting over 2,000 attendees, and I had been doing some in-person events, but I think at most there was maybe 400 people, so it was crazy. That was a lot of people for me, and I just was not, and it was more of my crowd as well. So I do craft fairs and stuff, and my stickers just don't sell super great at craft fairs and whatnot. That's not really the craft fair, stickers aren't really the craft fair crowd. But for a convention, they went over very well, so I was super busy with that. And then like 2 weeks after that, my husband and I decided to sell our house. So then I had to pack up a majority of my art room, so that way everything would be ready to sell, because my art room at the old house was in the house's dining room, so it needed to be a little bit more dining room-esque so to be able to sell. So I had packed up so much stuff, and at that point I was just doing what I needed to get by. I hated packing orders because everything was a mess and put away, and I had nothing out to do art. It was a really awful and busy time, because I was still doing some craft fairs and stuff, and it was just crazy, and we had so many things going on, and that was just the showings, and like we had to be ready at a moment's notice to leave the house, because we both work at home and we have 3 cats, so any moment we would be ditching everything and staying the days at our parents' houses and stuff with the kitties and stuff. It was a very, very stressful time. And then finally the day came where we had an offer on the house, and we were very, very happy. And then we found out the buyer had a VA loan, which, because it was 100% VA loan, we had to have all sorts of separate like appraisals and stuff, and the appraisals came back and they had all of these little nitpicky things that needed to be done before the buyer could buy the house. And so then it sent us into a tailspin of us and our realtor trying to get everything settled, and it was crazy time. But the house sold. We moved into our new house. We had 3 days to get everything into the new house before our old house closed, and we went on vacation. So we went camping over one weekend. We had a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to move all of our stuff, and then Thursday morning we were leaving on another vacation, and then Friday morning the house closed. So we'd have everything out of our house in 3 days, so that way when we came back we had stuff, because otherwise the house would have closed and we didn't own it or have access to it anymore. So it was crazy. Back to the piece. So I had to extend the black background a little bit because I noticed the fairy's wings was just touching the edge of the black, and so I was like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna go back in and fix that or extend it. So I did, and I let the fairy sit for a little bit. So at this point in the video she is almost completely dry, and so that way I could try to go back in and work on top of dry, because you do have a little bit before it starts lifting usually. And now I was trying very, very hard to give her this like glowing effect, and lesson learned, if I want her to have that glowing effect, I think what I need to do is paint in each color, like mix each color intending for the glow. So the color closest to her dress, like a white color, then paint in the pale glowing color, then paint in the brighter like kind of like haze, and then a light black, a gray, and then the black. Don't try to mix this on top of the black because it ended up just being a big mess. At this point I was very, very frustrated, but I was already like an hour and a half in, not counting the breaks to let the paint dry a bit between there, and I just wanted to be done. And I was so upset because these mushrooms were so cute, but the fairy was just not doing it. And this just goes to show what my style is. I'm a little bit more of I like to have some clear definition. I'm not super great at like improvising on the fly of like painting. I want to know exactly kind of where I'm painting, and so yeah, it was a bit rough. But I saved the glowing a little bit by, once everything dried, I went in with a clean, damp brush, and I just kind of mixed the paint then together just like over and over and over again, and I just like straight up with water blended it into the black, and that made it look better. And honestly, it looks better on camera here than it did in person. I think the fairy looks a lot cuter from farther away. Up close she's pretty gnarly, but the concept was very adorable, and I definitely think I will be revisiting it, just with a little more preparation and planning, because I had no idea for colors until I actually started painting. So she was very, very impromptu, and the little blue floaty things, they were cute. There's a hair on that paintbrush, and it was just an extra long hair. But here is a little bit of real-time footage of me adding some cute white detailing, and then this piece is done. Like I said, I was sad with how it was because I thought I could do better, but looking back on it, it's quite adorable actually, and it actually just has me excited to repaint it, but better, because that's what motivates me personally, is taking something that I've done and just doing it better. So this does not reflect my best work, but the next one will. Anyway, so tune in next week for Saturn, and I'm about to do a bit of a close-up, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye!